With Little Nightmares 2 being released back in February, I decided to pick up the first Little Nightmares and see what it was like. It was a beautiful mixture of horror, puzzles and abstract storytelling, and by the time the credits had rolled, I was longing for more. With that in mind, join me as we explore why we need more games like Little Nightmares. So here's a little bit of background information for you about me. I don't like horror games. I'm a giant coward. I hate sections of games where I'm being chased. That's the main thing for me. That and jump scares, which this game doesn't really have. I play the big ones like Outlast, Resident Evil, which seems kind of stupid considering they're full of the things I don't like, but that's pretty much about it. I also don't like puzzle games because I'm dumb as hell, so I should have hated this game. But I missed out a vital piece of information. I loved Limbo. Little Nightmares isn't developed by Playdead Games, but it's so similar to both Limbo and Inside. So first of all, the setting. What the fuck? This isn't a story explained video where I analyse every frame and tell you what to think, but I obviously do have my own interpretations of what exactly the moor is. What's pretty clear though is that the moor is fucked up. It seems as though the people in charge keep children as prisoners, kill them, and then feed them to these ugly fat people on the ship. Is this a metaphor for capitalism? For how the rich and powerful exploit children for their own personal gain? Maybe. Is it a much more personal story about Six and her life aboard the ship? Maybe. What we do know is that something seriously dodgy is going on here beyond the surface level. And the surface level's pretty fucked up as well. The fat chefs, for example. Why are they wearing masks? And why are the masks so ugly? I have my own interpretations, of course, but I can't say for sure. Where did these fat people come from? Why are they here? There are so many questions. But now, we're going to go through the game. So strap up, put on your yellow raincoats, and let's go through The Little Nightmare. Chapter 1. Tutorial. You wake up and make your escape. We have clues that suggest Six has attempted to escape before, and there's even a play area. We see the cages, a cafeteria, a nursery. This is where the children are being kept, like lambs to the slaughter. Then, Chapter 2 is where shit goes down. It appears Mr. Tickle's life has gone downhill since the Mr. Men series, as he's now a blind jailer of malnourished children. The game mechanics surrounding Mr. Tickle are brilliant. He's blind, meaning that the dopey prick can't see you, but he can hear you. You must use sound to your advantage. You can try and distract him by throwing objects, and you can hide from him by walking on the carpet. Then there's a shoe area with Holocaust imagery, and a weird as fuck shoe monster thing that chases us. If you know what this thing is, like if it's explained in the sequel for something, or if there's been a theory explained or whatever, please let me know in the comments, because I'd love to know what the hell this thing was and why it lives in a pit of shoes. Once you've evaded the Mr. Tickle's very long grasp, it's time to move into the kitchen. The kitchen is a frustrating level because it's very much centred around trial and error. You run to the wrong cover, death! You climb the wrong thing, death! You move too soon or too late, death! Either way, it's still the tensest the game ever gets. Tensest? Is that a word? We're pretending it is. There's a lot of running, a lot of outsmarting, and the boss fight against them was really cool as well. Then we have Chapter 4, where you see all the fat guests and get a sneaky peek at the lady. The guests have unlimited food in front of them, yet still throw it all on the ground and destroy the dining room just to get to you, a little malnourished child. This was my favourite level of the game because it was just tension all the time. I said I don't like being chased, and I don't, which is why this part is so good. I hated it. I was very uncomfortable. When I thought I'd escaped and relaxed as I waddled my way to the lift, the chef appeared from the lift, and I may have soiled myself. We get to the end and see a gnome holding a sausage for us. How nice. Oh my god, we're eating the gnome! What the fuck? Spoilers now for the DLC. If you care that much about the DLC, then skip to the time on screen now. It isn't that far, but BAM! You have been warned. The gnome is actually the character you play as in the Runaway Kid DLC. The Runaway Kid. The lady turns him into a gnome, and then Six eats him. Okay, welcome back to those of you that skipped 20 seconds forward. It's time to start a dialogue. 6 is now a bloody cannibal. She could have eaten the sausage, but no, living flesh is much more tempting, huh? What's the difference between 6 and the fat guests? Well, about £300, but that's not the point. Then we've got the final chapter, which I didn't like at all. It did a good job of making every mannequin look like the lady, but her chase sequence is easy and the boss fight is clunky. Then the game ends. Boom. What about the game though? Well, I enjoyed it, but it's got problems. The sombre colour palette works brilliantly in terms of atmosphere and art direction, but does lead to some serious issues with depth perception. I fell to my doom quite often because 1. The game is too dark, and 2. My hand-eye coordination is outrageously poor. I'm serious, you should see the state of my handwriting. The environmental storytelling is fantastic. There isn't a word of dialogue, about 3 cutscenes, and it makes for a much more fluid and ambiguous experience. And that's it. Ambiguity. That is the narrative's biggest strength. I've seen countless theories about the game, including one that the lady in charge of 6 is her mother, and her end goal is to kill all of the beautiful people to make up for her clapped ass face. Overall, Little Nightmares is a brilliant game. The only main drawback is that it isn't really long enough. Considering how old the game is, you can get it for cheap, and you could have even picked it up for free on Xbox Games with Gold in January. But I have my reservations about the sequel, which is apparently a fantastic game, but similar length and £30. That seems ludicrous to me, but hey, I'm not going to tell people how to spend their money. Little Nightmares masters the feeling of surviving by the skin of your teeth. I'm not a fan of how trial and error the puzzle elements feel, but I had a fantastic time with the game and I cannot recommend it enough. And that is why we need more games like Little Nightmares. Which chapter was your favourite? Please let me know in the comments down below, but for now, that's all from me. If you enjoyed the video, then please consider leaving a like, as it would be greatly appreciated. And if you want to see more content from me, then make sure to subscribe, as I upload videos just like this one every single Friday. Have a nice day and goodbye.